Alright, in my previous videos, I did the breakdown of the letter N and the letter Z and how they're actually one and the same. If you actually see, they are lines, the lines that are composed by, right? So, and I did show you how they actually create 90 degrees angles. The letter N create two different 90 degrees angle, and the letter Z create two different 90 degrees angles. Therefore is 4 times 9, 90, which is 360, and how that is actually 360 degrees, which are to me the 360 degrees of knowledge. So therefore the circle, the totality. And I close the circle with the letter Z, and it makes sense. The letter Z is the last letter of the alphabet, right? All right. Why Z? Z connects me to one of my other previous videos, which is Aurora Borealis and Miss Zion and Miss Ion. You know, I did the breakdown of that word and how it translates in Miss Zion, as in Zion, right? The so-called promised land. I'll get to that in a minute. But you have to watch that too, to like holistically make it make sense, right? To unite the dots. That video was about Miss Ion, so having the ion, and it refers to a female, a Miss Ion. An ion is an electrically charged atom, you know, and that was basically create the phenomena of the Aurora Borealis, right? So the green light that we can recognize as etheric energy, and green light as in high frequency energy. So the place that we are in now. And so Miss Ion, Miss Zion, so that identifies a female, right? So that type of loving energy. So green, of course, vegetation, abundance, so on and so forth. Therefore also a new earth, I would say. New earth. Why new earth? And the color green, because it's the abundance that we will have and that we deserve, you know. Especially the ones that were at the bottom, last shall be first, right? And vice versa. So I believe that the heart represents the new earth, you know. So that heart energy that is coming down, so that etheric energy, frequency, you know, from actually the help of etheric beings. And yeah, if you are Eritrean, think about it. Eritrean is the anagram of Etherean, made exception for the letter H, right? You do it yourself. It makes sense though. Eritrean and Etherean. So it's an assonance, but you know, use it to your advantage, you know, to reconnect to that state of being if you want. So the heart being, in my opinion, the earth, the new earth that is prophesied, the new earth that is facilitated by, you know, this heart frequency, you know, this love energy, and the new heaven, which is the crown. So as the scripture says, you know, there's gonna be a new heaven, new earth, and that's Zion, right? So the heart, new earth, and there will be new crownings. So heaven-like type of crowning. So that would mean the rightful rulership that has been lost, that now is back. Does it make sense? But anyway, going into this, so the N and the Z, going back to that, I had this download, which is my personal download, and one day I switched on the television and there was a regatta, and it was, I think, 2 days after or 1 day after I did the breakdown of the word, the letter Z, and you have the video here as I stated before. and I see the regatta. And actually, first of all, before doing that, I was like, why the N and the Z? Like, why I have this download? I always ask why, by the way, because I always want further confirmation, and they come. I said, why the N and the Z? And I said, what's N and Z? And I'm like, New Zealand, straight away I thought. I'm like, New Zealand. And I couldn't, you know, find a link between New Zealand and this whole message that I received and that I'm giving. But giving time to time, then I'm like, okay, I'll switch on the TV randomly, and I see the regatta. I see that New Zealand was at first place, and I think second was maybe, yeah, other colonist countries though, like USA, England, and Spain. They were there, like, and I saw New Zealand first. That is symbolic of what I'm about to say, and I'm like, what is New Zealand? And I'm like, New Zeal, it's zeal, it's seal. You can interchange the Z and the S. So the New Zeal, the New Seal. Okay. It's a seal. And what's a seal? The one that are sealed. You know, remember the ones that are sealed in the forehead. You know, take everything symbolically. But which are the 1 in 44,000, right? The ones that are sealed in the forehead, you know, the one that will experience the kingdom of God, heaven, Zion on earth. So New Zealand, new seal, and land, the new land, the new earth. New heaven and new earth and new heaven, right? So that's the New Zealand. And I'm like, I see the N and the Z, and then I see also an L. I see first place, New Zealand, and I see N, Z, and L. I'm like, L? Why? What's L for? Not even the time of asking that to myself, and I see leader close, because they were in the first place, right? So New Zealand leader, and I'm like, okay. It's about the new leadership of the new Zion, the new land, the new heaven, the new earth. And that's something factual that will happen, that we'll experience in this lifetime, not something that, you know, we like to talk about and, you know, be proud about it and be boastful about it. It's like there's a new leadership ready, so a new kingdom that is coming. So that's Zion, the one that is prophesied, right? I'm of the bloodlines, so I don't want to say I know what I'm talking about, but I'm decoding this, and this information is given unto me because, you know, I'm of the bloodline. So we're talking about prophecy. We're talking about being the root of King David, right? And things of that nature. But I'm not going to go into that, but anyway. So the Z of Zion, I had to write this down also. The Z of Zion becomes an N, because as I said, they're one and the same, they're interchangeable in degrees of knowledge. So if the Z become an N, instead of Zion, you have Nion, which sound like Neo, like Neo in the Matrix, and Neon. Neon is one of the noble gases, which have an atomic number of 10, by the way, right? And what is 10? 10 numerically is 1. Either if you don't want to give 0 a numerical value, so you have just 1. So like Neo, right? I just said it sounds like Neo. Neo is the 1, right? Or even if you want to keep 10 as a whole number on itself, it still indicates, in my opinion, 1. And why 1? Because 0 to me represents 1 or the 1, because 0 is the totality, so it's the 360 degrees. So in my opinion is all the knowledge, right? Which you can end up with the number 9, which is also the totality, right? In ancient Kemet you had the number 9 to express that spiral, right? You had the number 9 to express totality, 100%, which is still what? 1 and zeros. But in this case, 100 is 1 and 2 zeros, right? And in my opinion, the 2 0 represent 360 degrees, right? Plus another 360 degrees. So I would say 1 is the knowledge of good, and let's say the knowledge of evil, right? I mean, that dichotomy, right? That we know of pertaining this world, this reality. So again, and by the way, an atom is a atom, right? Break this word down, like atom. I broke down already the word A, which is in the Masonic emblem. In my previous videos, I said it. It's the square and compass, and square and compass represent, you know, heaven and earth. So the compass, with the compass you create a circle, and with the square, you know, square represents, you know, the earth. So you have both the unity of heaven and earth. Remember what I said is like Zion, New Zion, heaven coming down on this earth experience. So that's what we're gonna have. And what is Tom? Breaking down the word atom, yeah? A already broke it down. Tom is the diminutive of Thomas. And what Thomas means? Twin in Greek and Hebrew. So you got heaven and earth together, twin-like, right? And also, if you break down the word of the name of Neo in the Matrix is Thomas A. Anderson. So Anderson, you can break it down as andros, which means man in Greek, right? So you can have Thomas A. Anderson, which is Anderson meaning man, and son, let's say it's son. So Anderson is son of man. You can put it that way, which again identifies a Christ figure or Christ-like. So that's what Neo is in the Matrix, like, is Christ-like. But of course, he needed Trinity to be Christ-like. So to complete the circle, so feminine and masculine energy. So he needed a companion to be full, right? So he needed a woman. So that's where we're going, right? In this new earth, like, you know, the collaboration of both together and alchemizing all this and make it like more powerful. That's the most creative force at the end of the day. Like, creative force is man and woman coming together and create another human being, right? The Trinity, right? Which is the concept of the Trinity of original of Asar, Aset, and Heru. So they are the original Trinity. So remember that Aset put together the lost pieces of Asar, impregnated herself, take it that way, right? Like symbolically again. And she created Heru. And what's Heru? Heru is the Christ figure that we know, actually before even Christ or Yeshua, right? And why I'm also connecting it to the figure of Heru, because if you see the name of Neo, Thomas A. Anderson, again, Thomas, I said, means twin. A is just, you find just A dot Anderson. So the A, I already told you what it represents. Heaven and earth coming together. And Anderson also is not only son of man, as in andros, man, which means man in Greek, and son meaning son. But Anderson is also under sun. Like, what's Anderson means? Under the sun. So it's Thomas. So it's the twin Thomas creating heaven and earth under the sun. So Heru. So it's Asar and Aset, the twin, the brothers. They are also called brothers, Asar and Aset, right? In the ancient Kemetic culture, and we still have it to this day. For example, in Eritrea, so husband and wife, they might address to each other as brother and sisters. When something happened, you know, you might have heard your father say, "Oh, my sister," in a native language. Good. So, and I think that there's a misconception even when, you know, certain texts are translated from our cultures back in the days. For example, the culture of Kemet, when they say that this was the brother of that and this was the sister of that. That's not necessarily the case. Yes, I do believe there were like intermarriages, but half brothers and half sisters, but not fully brothers and sisters. But they used to call each other like brother and sister. So yeah, so that's the twin under the sun Heru. And why the twin are under the sun Heru? And I'm breaking down the name Thomas A. Anderson. I hope you follow me. So why they're under the sun Heru? Because the sun Heru represents this. The first eye. Therefore, father and mother are under that Thomas A. Anderson. So I'm breaking that down for you. And of course, this led me to the Bible, you know, Matthew 22:6, which states, "Let thine eye be single and full of light." And what does Matthew 22:6 numerically represent? 22 plus 6 is 28. Right? 28. What's the half of 28? 14. And the letter N, which has degrees of knowledge, as I stated before, is the 14th letter of the alphabet, which are also the number in which Asar was brought into pieces and then restored by Aset and Tehuti and so on. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. I'm not going really into that. So N again is the 14th letter of the alphabet. And Matthew 22:6 equals 28, which is double what the number N is. And 28 is nothing but 2 plus 8, which is 1. Therefore, we go to the concept of being the one. So by having this open, right, you become the one. Not only that, but we start from the heart, but you know, this is essential, you know, the connection with the divine. Therefore, your heaven, this is heaven. So your crown, you reach your crown like that. So I'm talking about new heaven and new earth. Again, the concept is coming back, right? So yeah, the N has 180 degrees of knowledge. Neon belongs to the noble gas. Neon belongs to group 18, which is, again, we have 9, which is a completion, right? Interestingly enough. And neon also, when electrified, you know, create a spark that is reddish and yellow. Again, what does that represent? The sun, right? Or the Son, or the Son of Man, Christ, or Christ-like figure. Hence why Yeshua was always represented, well, in Christian depictions, the fake image of Christ was represented with the halo or the sun on top of him, right? And of course, Heru does represent the sun. So he's represented with, you know, with the wings of a falcon, and in the middle you have a sun. That's a symbol of Heru. So that's the sun, the avenger. And in this case is the avenger that, you know, is able to restore a certain order and balance in this world, in the world. And that's the new heaven and new earth, Zion. So I'm connecting, you know, ancient Kemetic culture with, you know, biblical concepts based on what we have in the scriptures, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, there's a connection and they can be one and the same. I'm not gonna really go into that, but that makes sense. So, and what is neon? Neon is one of the noble gases, which are called 9 ether gases, right? And this is a Nuwabian concept. So 9 ether is a combination of all gases of nature, right? So yeah, again, this is a Nuwabian concept, and I definitely have to thank the figure of, you know, the master teacher Malachi Tzadok York, which I wasn't really aware of. I remember when I did a couple of months ago the video The Order of Melchizedek. I was simply breaking down the word and what they represented. But long story short, you give energy to energy. Then I came into the knowledge of this master teacher, Malachi Tzadok York, which means actually angel of light, if you translate it in my native language. And that's how energy operates. You give energy to energy, you know, you acknowledge something, and that comes back to you, which is beautiful. So that's actually what I got from the holy tablets. So what 9 ether is. Crazy alignment anyway, even without reading what basically reading what he's stating in the holy tablets. I mean, I'm not gonna go into that, but it's deep. It's crazy alignment, and it's not definitely by accident. So I wonder how this come into place, and I also wonder, you know, what ancient connection we do all have. And I'm talking about connection as in sharing the same space. Not just the teachings, but the same spaces. But anyway. So yeah, basically this is the message. Then I have here like Psalm 132. I don't know why, I don't remember why, but I think it connects me to the Davidic bloodline. And remember, Zion is God's kingdom on earth. A place of justice and righteousness, right? Hopefully I'm not missing anything. But yeah, I think I do. Because yeah, I had other connections with this message. So yeah, let me emphasize a bit the fact that so Neo, a Christ-like figure, you know, need Trinity in this reality. And Trinity, of course, 3 represent the Trinity. So whoever's coming afterwards, which is the evolution of who we are, who you are, right? So this is on top and must stay on top. So that's basically the concept. And again, take my words symbolically. And as I like to state, you know, the reason why I'm able to break this down is because I'm called Thomas. So, and whoever is Thomas would have been suitable to break this down even better, right? because again, it's energy, you know. I came with the name Thomas for a reason, and if this message is being sent out by me, it's because I already have a connection with that name, right? So, and you can see the way I break down words and numbers, you know, I'm establishing a relationship with, you know, with these, right? Plus, I know I'm not gonna reveal the secret. Though. I cannot tell it all. But yeah, that's the kingdom of God. So that's the energy of. Again, I have to thank Anu, like as if it's like I'm being given a Grammy Awards or something. I want to thank Anu. Now, yeah, I must thank the energy of yeah, Anu the Most High for sure, because as I stated in the previous video, you know, when I saw his image in the holy tablets and it was buffering here, and trust me, it's the only image that was buffering there, no other ones, and it's full of images there. So yeah, this was the message for today. Go watch my video Aurora Borealis and Miss Zion, and let the etheric energy flow in you. Not especially, but you know, I must start with, you know, my people. So especially if you're from Eritrea, so let's make sure that. Look at this woman. She's pouring coffee. She looks like the energy of Aquarius, pouring down, you know, pouring down the knowledge, you know, pouring down the waters, pouring down that information down. But that's just a coffee. Yeah, coffee, 2 cups, you know. So yeah, I hope this message will reach you. And as always, I salute all the Miss Ions, which are many in this world, all the sisters, you know, all my warriors brothers, you know, we got this.